All right, Michaela, I'm just going to hop right into your repository. I've actually already built everybody's repositories. I mean, everyone's Docker files, but I'll just show you how I would have done it. And the only difference between your instructions and what I'm doing is I'm giving your Docker container a different name. It looks like it builds perfectly, so now I'm going to look at your README. Your README is great. One thing I would suggest, this is much better than many people's, so, you know. In fact, I love the explicitness of your instructions here. One thing you might want to do for clarity is put these line breaks in so that you can, so that it's easier to read. I know that you're probably working with a text editor that's doing that for you already, but it can make it a lot easier for people to read if you justify it, like this. And of course, the code blocks, you'll have to insert them. So conventionally, a good place to think about this is to put an escaped line break, after each argument, before each argument, like this. And this makes it for a pretty clearly readable Docker file. Command line. Interesting. Is this something that I did? It might be something that I did when I reformatted your text. Let me go back. So I'm not sure if this is just a difference in your Markdown editor or mine, but I think typically people want to use these 3 backslashes. Interesting. To delimit code blocks. So I would do this instead. And then interesting that we've got this like that. I'm not sure if this has something to do with what Emacs did or whatever. But anyway, other than that, your README file looks good. And everything looks nice. I'm also happy to see that your Shiny is documented in here and your make file is documented in here. So we're just going to jump right to running the Docker container. I'm going to go ahead and copy your code here, although I'll have to edit it a little bit. I can, of course, replace this with whatever I want. Again, I'm really happy with the explicitness of your instructions. It makes it easy for people to follow along. And then the primary difference between what you've done and I've done is I've given your Docker container a different name. And hopefully I don't have a Docker container already running. I don't think I do. So let's just jump to localhost 8787. And I think we just set a password as PW. Okay, so now we can go into project. I'm going to try to follow your README, even though I know what everyone's project should be like. I'm going to try to follow the instructions to your README. Yeah, perfect. So you do mention the working directory, which is great. Then we will just jump into a terminal. And I'm just going to make sure that I'm in the directory I expect to be. I'm not. And I'm going to say make report.pdf. I'd love to see that you don't have any of your intermediate directories in there. So this seems to be working. So while it's working, I'm going to actually take a look at your makefile. Your makefile looks good. It's very cleanly and well designed. You're deleting your intermediate stuff. That's all great. I'm just going to pause the video while this finishes, and then we'll come back to it. Okay, so actually I've seen this error with a lot of people's code base, and I don't know exactly why we're all seeing it, because I assume you tested this inside your Docker container. But I believe the solution to this problem is to go to your Docker file and yeah, this is the thing I wanted. You might want to use status code 22 here. There is a meaning for each of these status codes, and as far as I can tell, 22 is the most meaningful one for this thing, although they're kind of specific to whatever. So let's go ahead and fix this tech live problem. We're going to say run r-e. I'm going to copy your invocation here. And we're going to replace this with TinyTech. So what we're going to do here is install a distribution of tech that we can use to, even if you build it with the regular PDF LaTeX command, this will make sure the right libraries are installed. So then we need to do one more thing, TinyTech, install TinyTech. So this, of course, will be done in your Docker file. I'm going to just copy and, or I'll just do this right now. And let me actually take a look at your makefile while we're waiting for that to install and see what you're doing. So this is probably the right way to do this, to render it with our Markdown render. So now that we've got that in our console, we're going to also do this move. And this might take a second too. Okay, so this is not true. We won't need to restart our system. And now if we make report.pdf, we should go right through. Okay, so we've got your report. So apart from that TinyTech issue, which seems like everybody is having it, this is great. You'd get a 10 out of 10 for this. All right, thank you for sending this to me. Bye.